One of the cool things about today's video is that it's actually sponsored by Evil Dead the game. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going into Castle Kandar and taking a closer look at some of the things that they have in the map. And not only are we going to take a look at some iconic locations like the windmill or the castle itself or Fort Gort, I'm actually going to teach you some things that I've learned playing with it for a couple of days here that'll help you play the map better. So let's go ahead and pop right into it here. And please pardon my voice. I am still sick and it's taken a while to go away. Now we have two good options to explore the map here at our own pace. We have the new exploration mode, which is a different take on things. You spawn in without any items or any perks, and it's just really more of the cinematic kind of view where you just take things in at your leisure. And then we also have play solo here, which is what I'm going to pick so I can get the full team going and kind of get a little bit more of the cadence of what we'd be expecting with the demon spawning things on us, okay? And of course, if I'm going to be on Castle Kandar, I absolutely have to play Arthur in his new skin. So here's regular Arthur, and then here's Arthur with his amazing haircut. I'm really glad that they ended up putting this in here because this is how I envisioned him from the movie, right? And then also, we got to go ahead and take a look at the Scottish vibe from Henry the Red here too. Hey, here we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at the new map here. So, immediately, things to teach you about it. Go ahead and take a the map here. Some things to know. In terms of where the dark ones like to spawn, areas I've been noticing tend to be on the south side of the castle, the north side of the castle. I've seen them spawn up here above Acton Village, and then also a little bit west of Fort Gort. Those are the 4 locations I've been seeing. If you guys have seen any more, let me know in the comments down below. But now something else we should talk about right away if we're going to go ahead and take a look at the map. By the way, I love the sunset here. It looks so pretty when you get a good look at it here. But one of the things we should talk about right away is the cars. So you see these little gold sparkles? Well, if you get close enough, it spawns a car. Now, one of the things you might be wondering, if you play as a demon player, is, well, can I make those spawn? Yes. Kind of. So if you were to go in there with your demon vision and run towards the car or float towards the car, no, that's not going to work. However, if you possess a survivor and then move that survivor over to where the car would appear, well, then that will make the car appear, and then you can go ahead and flip it as you would like. So go ahead and take and just twist it backwards, and the whole thing will flip over, right? Sorry, guys. So let's go drive right away on over to Fort Gort over here, because we actually get a really good example of a big mechanic in Castle Kandar. So, actually, one thing to keep in mind here is these trees. These are a different type of tree. There's also bushes that are scary bushes. They seem to have a shorter range than what you might be used to on the other 2 maps, but these things are way more sinister when they flip around at you. They're kind of creepy. But now let's take a look at Fort Gort here. Ooh. Oh god, scary tree. Yeah, there it is. So if you come up into Fort Gort, something you'll see if you climb up this area is there's almost always a treasure chest right here. And these treasure chests are a really big deal. And there's almost always one right here on Fort Gort. And these treasure chests usually spawn a really nice weapon, but then they also spit out a Shemps, Pink F, and an amulet. So these things are kind of stacked. So if you've been noticing people have a lot of Shemps on this map, it's probably because of stuff like this. And there just seems to be a lot of spawns all across the area. If you take a peek around here, look at it, it's littered with everything. Also, there's usually a supply crate up here too, which is really nice. So this is a great place to go. Oh, and take a look at that. Explosive crossbow, perfect. So, something you do with this explosive crossbow is use its extensive range, right? So go ahead and take a look at this. I can shoot this car all the way over there. Bam. It's got really big range, and it's really, really nice for if you need to take out a bunch of deadites coming out of a portal. So let's say a portal spawned right there, boom. You can maybe take them all out, or at least damage all of them, right? Something else to know about this is that you're not going to damage yourself. Another thing to know about it is that it has a radius, right? So things that get impacted at the center take more damage than things that are on the outer edge of the radius. Something else to know is if you shoot it around your teammates, they will complain. So, I don't know if that'll always stay in the game, but they currently are pretty mad if you explode them. But now let's go back to talking about the treasure chest here. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because this is a recurring mechanic on Castle Kandar. So, something you'll notice if you climb up Fort Gort here, or if you climb up into other areas such as the castle, when you tend to climb to a top of a building, that's where you'll find these treasure chests. They almost always spawn if you climb to the top of an area. Now, what's nice about Fort Gort here is that you don't have to climb very far. Whereas if you're in the castle, those archer towers get pretty tall, and those could be a really good way to get cornered by the demon. So Fort Gort is a really nice location to get yourself a guaranteed Shemps, a guaranteed amulet, a nice weapon. Like, you know it's going to be there no matter what. Let's make our way on over to the windmill. I really want to check that out. It looks so sick in the distance, though. One thing I think they did a really good job with. Oh, yeah, here, take a look. One of the areas I was telling you about, they kind of like to spawn to the left over here, right? So, like, this area up in here, and then the castle on each side of the castle. Sure enough, here's the dark ones. One of the things I think they did really well with this map is they really captured a sense of scale. That's one of the things I was immediately impressed with was the, like, how big the castle actually felt. It felt like a real castle. It didn't feel like a toy castle. Let's take a look at this. Look at this windmill. It's so cool. I love the windmill in the movie. I'm pretty sure that's where the mini ashes came in, right? And if you're not familiar, the mini ashes are one of the things you can do with the traps in this game. There's a whole scene in here where Ash has a good time dealing with miniature versions of himself. Let's just take a peek around the windmill in here, man. Oh, this is so sick. There's a lot of details put into these maps, man, and I'm sure there's so much stuff in here that if I were to really parse through it and know what to be looking for, there would be all sorts of little details in terms of like fan service or Easter eggs. They did a really good job with capturing a lot of what people really love from the movies in this map and really throughout the whole game. Oh, actually, where would this drop off to if I wanted to drop off? Oh, that might actually be a really nice getaway area. So let's say the demon's chasing you and you just need to like get out of dodge. You could totally come over here, and I don't think there's fall damage. So, yeah, so you could really just go. It's actually nice to know that there. So we can't go ahead and do a Castle Kandar video without actually taking a look at the castle. So let's drive our way on over there. And actually, now that I'm thinking about this, you saw how the cars are spawning in, right? And you might be wondering, well, how is everybody actually here in this time zone? Oh, before we get to that, though, we got to talk about this freaking beauty. Modified Delta. Get off of me. This thing is so cool looking. There's so many little details on it. We got the ram head on the front, bone crusher. If you take a look at the back, look at that. We have the scratch marks in it. We have the freaking emblem there. It says groovy on the back, license plate, stay back demons. Unfortunately, though, I don't think demons can read very well, so the stay back demons doesn't seem to work too well. Yeah, this thing's so cool. And actually, something to note is I'm pretty sure these don't come in through the portals. These are the cars that spawn natively on the map. So if you are playing demon, you might be able to flip some of these modified deltas around, even if the cars haven't spawned in. One thing I think would be really cool is if you could go ahead and light this right here, and then the catapult would just launch one at the castle. That'd be kind of sick. Now let's get ourselves into the castle here. Immediately what you're going to feel is just how big it is. You can explore all of this, by the way. None of this is off limits. So we can go on over to the stairs over here and start climbing through all of the castle keep. But again, the whole thing just feels like it's to scale. It doesn't feel like a toy castle. That's one thing I was worried about when I was hearing about the castle map. I was like, well, I hope it actually feels like a castle, and it absolutely does. Get off of me! One thing I've always felt like they did really well with this game is it just looks amazing. They did a great job with Unreal to go ahead and make it look so pretty. Get off of me, you stupid puppeteer minions. But yeah, so if we start climbing up the stairs over here, you'll see that you can go everywhere in here, man. But be careful, because you can get stuck up here with the demon. The demon kind of likes you hanging out in here. So keep that in mind. Like, let's say you get map pieces here early. You want to get in and you want to get out, because the demon will take advantage of all of the close corridors in here. And actually, something to keep in mind here, if you are playing demon, I guess, or survivor, is you see how there's 3 different areas here? These can be different areas for the map pieces to spawn in. Like, you can have a map piece spawn here, and then it can spawn right here, because these are considered different sections of the map. Okay? So keep your eyes peeled. You can actually get 2 map pieces really quickly right here. And then actually this right here is probably a really good example, if I were to climb all the way up top this tower, of guaranteeing ourselves a chest, or a treasure chest. So I'm going to see if I can climb up here real quick, and I bet you there's one sitting up here. But as you can see, it's quite the trek to get all the way up here. So you really have to assess whether or not it's worth the risk, because if a demon catches you up here, you are in a lot of trouble. Get off of me! You are in a lot of trouble. Yeah, sure enough, here's your chest. Another thing to keep in mind when you're playing this map is you can't vault a lot of these things. I've been seeing a lot of players do that. They try to leave, they're like, oh, I'm going to vault, and then you can't. There's not a lot of vaulting on this map. There's some locations in some of the side villages, right? Like maybe in Pox Pond or Vengeance Village, but don't sit here and think that you can vault over everything when you're in the castle. You're going to get yourself in trouble if you think you have a getaway via a vault. Go ahead and just make sure you have a clear path to run. Like, there might be some locations to vault, but there's really not many, so be careful. I'm pretty sure if we take a walk around through the castle here, that we'll run into the pit, I believe, over in this area. And the pit's a really big thing from the movie. I do also think you go in the pit if you play the story mode here for Arthur, which is kind of cool. But similar to how it is on the Nobi cabin area on the other maps, you can hear the creature talking inside the pit, just like you can hear Henrietta talking inside the cellar, which is kind of cool. A tip if you're getting stuck inside the castle is make sure you look at your mini map, or heck, you can just look at the regular map. You see these gray icons? These are doors. These are going to be how you get out of the castle, because it can get a little easy to get stuck in here and get lost if you're still learning the map, right? Or you're still learning the castle. So make sure you take a peek for those areas, and that'll help you get on out of here in case you need to get to your next objective. But again, just take a look at this place. It feels so cool. One of the things I want to find here is I want to find a mace so I can show you some of the really cool finishers the mace has. The mace is actually a really interesting weapon, and it has really interesting stats, which we'll go over as soon as I find one. Oh yeah, that reminds me, back to what we were talking about before the modified delta completely distracted me. So part of what's going on in this game in particular is there's a reason why all these characters can be in the same place at the same time. There's a reason why we can be in Castle Kandar. There's a reason why Ash can be here in 4 separate instances. And it makes sense in the whole grand scheme of the lore, but there's time travel in this series, right? So how it happens is Professor Nobi and I think Ed are kind of dicking around with the book, trying to figure out how to make things work and how to save the world. And really what ends up happening is they accidentally bring everybody in together. So that's how we can all be here. That's how the cars can show up, or you can just hear the car going in the background. That's how all these characters can be mishmashed together. And then actually, if you go into the menus and listen to the audio logs, one thing that's really cool is there's an audio log of Henry accidentally being summoned, and then he actually talks to Ed and Professor Nobi. Aha, here we go. The mace. Okay, so there's some things to know about the mace here that make it pretty unique, actually. So first off, something to know about the mace is that it is a blunt, one-handed weapon. And if you take a look at its stats, it does 65 damage, its dismemberment's 45, and its balance bar 65. So it's kind of in between the shovel and the sledgehammer in a lot of ways when it comes to balance bar and damage and that type of output. But something that makes it really unique, though, is that, again, it is a one-handed weapon. There is no other one-handed weapon in the game that is this powerful. So if you're sitting here building out, let's say, your warrior, that might be something you want to consider if you really like using the mace. All right, now what we got to do, though, is get some finishers in with this mace here. Hit me. Ugh. The mace has some of the best finishers. Bye! Freaking love this thing. There's also a really nice one where you like freaking smash their balls off. Got to go do that one too. Here's like, take this for example. I need to get out of the castle, right? And you see that little door looking thing above my head? Well, I can go ahead and just be like, bye. And that's how I get out of the castle. But now let's go ahead and do one more finisher here. And then I want to talk one more thing about the cars, because there's something really important to know about driving in this map. Because unlike the other maps, there's a lot of trees everywhere, right? Well, with this map, you don't really got to worry about it near as much, right? So something I'd recommend is if you're really trying to get away from the demon, don't sit here and fancy pants around and try to get on the road and make sure you're in a really good position that way. You can just go and you'll eventually make your way to the road, because there's almost nothing in your way in terms of debris or obstacles. This allows you to just book it. And not only can you book it, you know, pretty much anywhere up in this area, you can drive all along this dead space over here, which, again, there's going to be scenarios where if you just need to book it, go ahead and use whatever you can with the map, because these cars, they do move faster than the demon almost exclusively. I believe this area here in Vasquez Cemetery, this is probably another area for a treasure chest. Again, if it's got like big bricks on it, kind of looks like a tower, it could be connected to a castle, it probably has a treasure chest on top of it here. Let's take a peek. I bet you if I climb all the way up here, I'll find one. I almost guarantee I'm going to find one. Yep, sure enough. There you go. Keep in mind these treasure chests, man. These are a big deal. It also appears that being inside of here, like even when I'm right here, counts as being inside of a building to make it so your fear goes down. Oh my god, look at this sunset though. It looks so nice over the cemetery. Cemeteries are kind of creepy, right? But like the sunset makes it look so pretty around in here. I would not be surprised if there's some Easter eggs here in the cemetery. There almost always is cemetery Easter eggs in video games. Here, let's get this guy out of the way though. Oh, right in the nuts. I guess it's a little high for the nuts. Unless you pull them up tight, I guess. Oh! Oh my god. I love the finishers on the mace. They're so good.
For your arrogance, I shall see you dead.
Bye! I love how he like gives it a twirl as he drops it. Very fancy, Arthur. Oh, one other thing to know about the mace. We talked about this a little bit in our other video where we covered the patch notes, but the attack pattern on the mace, I'll just show it to you because this is something that I think is going to be relevant for some folks depending on their playstyle, right? So here's the light attacks. We have 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4. That's fine. But then if you take a look at heavy attacks, take a look at how many of these attacks are over the head. The first one is, I don't think the second one is, but then 3 and 4 also could be over the head shots, right? So one thing to know about this game is if you can hit something in the head and you have a high dismemberment value, you can outright kill it even if it still has a bunch of health HP left. So Mace may or may not play into that because the dismemberment value is in an okay spot. 45 is not terrible. So something for y'all to consider out there. But yeah, I just wanted to showcase the map a little bit here. It looks amazing, especially when you get this nice sunset here. So much of it is so fun to explore. I highly encourage you to check it out. And then if you guys have any other tips or secrets or things that I don't know about the map yet that I didn't talk about in this video, please put them in the comments down below. And if you haven't bought Evil Dead the game yet and you want to purchase it for yourself, there'll be a link in the description. It'll look like a saber link. It'll be towards the top of the description. Go check that out as well. Thank you to Evil Dead the game for sponsoring this video. It's always cool when the game you play and the game you cover, they reach out and they want to sponsor a video for you. So thank you, Evil Dead the game, and also thank you guys for putting me in a position to have a video sponsored like this. And then with that, I'll see you guys in the next video that we do around here.